Good morning. I am going to make some lunch and I thought we could have a recipe and a chat, except I'm on my own because Carlo is obviously down in the woods with his digger and he's invited Giovanni, our neighbour, and his son Francesco round for lunch. Now Francesco's vegetarian, so I'm going to do a mixed lentil and pulses soup, which it's something that Elizabeth cooked when we were back in Positano a few months ago, and I really liked it, and I've recreated it and just sort of done my own version of it. There's no recipe or anything, so all I'm using is an onion, some celery, carrots, which are always the basis for a soup. I've got some concentrate of tomato, I think that's what you call it, some sage and some rosemary that I've just picked in the garden, and then this packet of biological soup fantasy, it's called, very extravagantly, which is basically a mixture of different types of lentils. I can see green, brown and orange lentils. There's some split peas in there, and there is some farro, which is spelt. That's what it is in English. There could be some barley in there as well, I'm not really sure, but it's really nice. So I'm just thought I would chop all this up and chat to you while I'm doing it. I feel like I've got a little bit of housekeeping to do. There's a few things I've been meaning to say lately and haven't really got round to it. So I've got a little list here. Now I've got to try and decipher my language. It says, Carlo comments, his job I edit. Yes, I've probably said all this before, but I just wanted to point out that often people say, often we see in the comments that people are appreciative that Carlo replies to a lot of comments. And I don't know if anybody is not appreciative that I don't reply to comments, but basically Carlo and I have divided the work when it comes to our videos. So I do pretty much all of the filming and editing and planning and subtitles and choose the music. I do all that. Carlo does the drone shots and he does a bit of filming obviously when he can, and he looks after the comments, which is almost a full-time job in itself. And he does that most evenings, and first thing most mornings he will sit down and go through the comments, answer some of them, and just like check through them all. So the reason that you don't often get a reply from me, every now and again I'll say, oh, can I reply to that if I feel like if there's something I need to say. But normally he does that just because that's his job and I'm busy doing something else. So it's not that I don't have an idea of what's going on in the comic section. Carlo does read them out to me quite often, and we also occasionally have somebody helping us who will give me a summary of what the people are saying in the comments, and gives also ideas of what I could discuss and talk about in future videos, which is actually really, really helpful. So that's why Carlo is always the one replying in comments, just because if I did that too, I literally wouldn't have the time to do anything else, because it's very, very time consuming, as is editing and filming. So yeah, we're splitting the work. Now the other thing, so basically what I'm doing is I'm going to just chop, I should have done all this before, but I'm going to dice all of the carrots, the onion and the celery, and then I will fry it off in a pan. So I'm just going to get all that done. I also wanted to quickly say thank you to anybody who's ever sent us a gift. Now, this is something I've hesitated to talk about because I really don't want to encourage people sending us gifts. We don't need anything. I don't feel like it's necessary, and we don't expect it at all. Also, we don't have huge properties where we can keep so many things. And I know that there's some channels that have encouraged sending gifts, but I've never been that. So this is why I've never really mentioned it, because I don't want people to think that because somebody sent us a gift, we're expecting other people to do it. It's not at all that. We'd prefer that nobody spent any money on us. And if you want to spend money, go and donate to a charity. We don't need anything. And we're just really, really grateful that people watch our videos and leave us a comment. And even more grateful if you subscribe and like the video. I mean, that's the most helpful thing you can do, and that's something I never say. I know all YouTubers say that, but it's something I literally hardly ever say. So yeah, if you do want to give us a gift, subscribe to our channel and like our videos. That's all we need. But yeah, I just wanted to thank anybody who has ever sent a gift, because what happens is, now we've also talked about the fact that we can't accept people sending gifts by post, especially from out of Europe, because there's such high customs fees that we have to pay. For example, I got sent a bag once from England, which is now not in the European Union, and I had to pay €60 to get that bag out of customs. So it's very expensive for us, so we really, really discourage people to send us anything. And people have found a way around it by taking stuff to, when they come to Positano, they leave stuff with my friend Elizabeth down where her boat company is on the beach. So often that happens, and Nicolas, Guy's boyfriend, who basically lives with us, he will often come home with something that somebody's dropped off for us. Now, the problem is, it's quite chaos down there. So often any little notes or something might get lost, or if somebody's put a gift in for Elizabeth Kids as well, she might get the note and I might just end up with a pot of honey or a cap for Carlo or a key ring or something that somebody sent us. And often these things arrive to us with no note, or there's a note but there's no contact so I can thank anybody. And this has happened so many times, and I've always been very aware that a lot of the time I've not been able to thank somebody for a gift that they sent. One, because I don't even know who it's from, or two, sometimes I've tried and maybe I can read the contact details wrong or something, but often there's no way of knowing who it's come from, which makes me feel really bad. So I just wanted to, one, thank anybody who's ever sent us anything, two, apologise to anybody who I haven't thanked personally because I haven't been able to get in contact with them, but also three, to highlight the fact that please don't think about sending us gifts. We don't. I mean, we're grateful for everything we've ever been sent, especially all of the paintings that we've had over the years. I mean, those are just the best. The little picture we've got of Holly and Indy up here, we love it. All John's paintings on our bathroom wall back in Positano, fantastic. There's so many, but there's some lovely stuff. And the little Vespa that we got given by a couple that came to Positano a few years ago. I mean, we love it, but we don't need anything and we don't expect anything, and we would like to discourage people from spending money on us. Okay, that's one of the other things. Right, let's get this onion. Let's hope that this onion doesn't make my eyes stream. I should be doing what my neighbour Anna taught me and put it underwater for a while. Oh, that's another thing I wanted to mention. Now, we did, if you've been watching for a while, you'll remember that we've done some cooking videos with our neighbour Anna in Positano, and everybody loved Anna and asked us to do more. Unfortunately, Anna's been quite ill for a while, so we haven't been, when we've been visiting her, we've been seeing her, but we're not obviously filming anything with her because she's just not up to it at the moment. Hoping that maybe next year at some point she'll be better and we might be able to do something else with her. But also here in Tuscany, we'd sort of organised that we were going to do some cooking videos with a lovely lady that we met when Carlo's mum was in hospital last year. I don't know if you remember, Adriana. She was looking after her sister who is in the bed next to Carlo's mum, and she was really lovely. And we stayed in touch with her, and we took her out for lunch one day last summer and asked her if she would be up for doing some cooking videos with us, and she said yes. And then she very promptly came down with, and what's it called in English? It's not St. Elmo's fire, is it? Fuoco di San Antonio. Fuoco di San Antonio in English is shingles. She got shingles, so she hasn't been able to do it either. So we've got all of that on hold, and hopefully one day we'll be able to do some really proper, authentic cooking videos with people who know what they're doing. So let me just put that in the bin. What bit I don't need. Okay. Right, so I'm going to put on the pot. By the way, I probably have mentioned this before, but I'm going to mention it again because we all know that the Le Creuset pots are very expensive and really, really good. This one is not Le Creuset. This is Sainsbury's supermarket in England, and it costs £25. And it is exactly the same as a Le Creuset pot. It's heavy, it works. I've had this for 2 years now. I've got one in Positano that I've had for about 4 years. And I can't believe that they're absolutely perfect. It hasn't stained inside. It's really, really good. It's so worth it for £25 rather than 100 and God knows however much it would have cost if I'd bought the original. So, a little bit of oil. We're still using our oil from last year's harvest. We've still got a few litres left, which might get us through to the next harvest in October, we're hoping. We didn't do a harvest this year, and this is the only oil we got from the latest harvest, and this was gifted to us by Giovanni, who's coming for lunch today. Really good. Anyhow, let's pour this into the pan. So I can let that soften for a while and cook. And I'll just stick the sage and rosemary in there as well. Right, okay, that's that. And now I've just got to figure out how much of this, because I sort of always do this by eye and I never weigh it. And then I either have way too much or not enough at all. So let's see if it actually says for 4 people, how much do you need? It says 400 grams of the product dry corresponds to 800 grams of when it's cooked. That really does not help me as how much I need per person. Absolutely useless. All right, I'm just going to have to wing it. And also, after our Wi-Fi problems that we had in Positano over Christmas, which, by the way, there was no Wi-Fi for, I think it was about 3 weeks it lasted, maybe even longer. It went on and on. They came and fixed it, I think on the 2nd of January, somebody came down and fixed it, and within 2 hours it broke again. And then it took ages for them to come back and fix it. So poor Sky and Nicola were without Wi-Fi for ages. And of course, a lot of people suggested to us that we get Starlink. Now, Starlink we have here at the moment because we were connected to a local Tuscan provider who specialises in countryside areas where you don't get a phone signal very easily. And we were with this provider and it was incredibly slow. So we decided to get Starlink here and we've been fine ever since and it's perfect. The reason we haven't got Starlink in Positano is because we need to test it. So basically, Carlo's cousin Andrew, whose house is, I'd say, 200 metres directly below ours, he got Starlink and he couldn't get it to work. So he phoned up the helpline and said, look, I'm trying to get a signal. It's not working. It's not picking up the satellites. What's wrong with it? And they said, oh, let us check from our end. Okay, it looks like you have an obstacle in the way of the, the signal. There's an obstacle in the way. Can you move it? And he said, well, where's the obstacle? And she said, facing north. He goes, well, behind me, there's the mountain that Positano is on. And the woman on the phone said, can you move it? And he said, no, I can't move the mountain. And she said, okay, well, unfortunately, if you can't move it, then you won't be able to get the signal. You won't be able to have Starlink where you live. So because we can't move mountains, we're pretty sure that from our house, it's going to be exactly the same because we're even further into the valley in the mountains. So we don't know if the signal will come down to our house. We're going to order it and try it because it might work. And if it does, we'll be sharing it possibly with our neighbour upstairs and we'll all have Starlink and we'll never be isolated again, which would be wonderful. I've just had to change microphones because the other one's battery was running out. So that's why I've now got a black dot on me instead of a white dot. So I've added some hot water. I'm going to add some broth, vegetable broth. I'd normally have broth that I've made in the freezer, but it's chicken broth. So because we're doing vegetarian, I'll just use this. A little bit of that, a teaspoon of salt, and I can add the lentils. I also have a few chickpeas and there's a couple of raisins in that. I might have to fish out the raisins. It's a shame not to use them, but I've got to take the raisins out first, and then that can all go in as well. Let's just cut. You should be able to find these packets of mixed lentils and split peas anywhere in any supermarket. I found them in Sainsbury's when I was with Dad the other week, and I made this dish for him as well. Now, I've got no idea if that's going to be enough, too much, too little. I'll put that in later because that's already cooked. Maybe I should do the whole thing. 800 grams, that's a lot. Okay, so maybe that's enough. I've also got in the fridge some truffle that I was gifted yesterday. The whole fridge stinks, reeks, smells, perfumes, whatever you want to call it, of truffle. It's really, really strong. So I was told to keep it in a glass jar wrapped up in a piece of kitchen roll. I don't know if Giovanni and Francesco like truffle. If they do, I might cook a little bit of spaghetti as well and just have like oil, parmesan, and grate some fresh truffle on it. I don't know if I like it. I've only ever had truffle on crostini, and let's say I used to hate it, but over the last couple of years, because it's sort of everywhere, I'm getting used to it, but I don't love it at the moment. So I'm interested to try it on spaghetti to see what it's like. So I might do that if they are interested, if they like spaghetti, I might do that as well. We'll see. But yes, we went to there's a local truffle hunting place in the village, and when we're out on our dog walks we often see them with the truffle dogs hunting in the woods, and I really, really wanted to meet them and get to know them. So yesterday I went and met Luca, who runs Savini Truffles, and he was really nice, and he's invited me to join him next week on a truffle hunt, so I'm really excited to go and do that. Anyway, that's got to cook for basically 35-40 minutes. So I'm going to leave that to cook, and I will show you the results afterwards. Nearly forgot to add the tomato concentrate. Let's add some of that in. I might as well finish off the tube. Ah! Can't stay clean ever. Now, when it starts absorbing water, it suddenly puffs up quite a lot, and you normally have to add quite a bit more water. So I'm just going to keep an eye on that and add some more soon. And I might add some greens in there as well. I've got a little bit of cavallo nero, I don't know what it's called in English, and I might just chop up some of this and put it in because it needs to be used. Okay, it's about 35 minutes later. I think this is done. I'll try a bit in a second, but it's really puffed up. It's nearly filled the whole pan. I can't think of my words. And it looks really, really nice. Now that with a little bit of olive oil drizzled on top, and it'd actually be quite nice with some feta cheese sprinkled in it as well, but it actually gets better the next day. So it's a good thing to make for if you're happy to have the same thing for a couple of days in a row. Okay, so we've eaten that, and I forgot to show you, but we're making some spaghetti with truffle, and it's very, very simple. You melt some butter in a pan, grate some of the truffle into the pan, add your spaghetti, put a little bit of the pasta water to keep it nice and moist, and that's it. And then we can just grate some more truffle. We've already used one of them, so we'll grate that into it. Everybody can grate it on themselves. A bit of parmesan, and that's it. I'm excited to try this.
Wow, una donna italiana che cucina per Ma vaffanculo a me.
Shut up.
Una donna inglese che cucina per uomini italiani. Eccoli là, gli uomini italiani.
Okay, right.
So, questa ricetta
Cioè, guarda. Cioè di più forte.
Non si può dare, faccio fuori.
Ti piace? Non vuoi venire a cantare canzone di amore napoletani vicino alla piscina?
No.